I'm Voodoo Mike, and welcome to Double Feature, the show where we review two movies, watch them back to back as a double feature. Today's double feature was Kurt Russell and John Carpenter Grand Slam special. In the future, we'll go head to head with our picks, but for today, we got two Kurt Russell jams. What'd you think, man? Let's start with some context, okay? So Big Trouble in Little China came out in, I think, 85 or 86. I think it was 86. It's got, Kurt Russell. It's how do you describe it? It's a comedy action film about a guy named Jack Burton who finds himself in Chinatown, and things go fucking insane. There's no way to describe the plot. It's things go insane.
Yeah.
And then the other flick was Escape from New York, another Kurt Russell, John Carpenter. And in this one, it's got an amazing premise, I will say. It's about, New York as a high maximum security prison where he has to rescue the president from a plane crash on the island. Pretty cool. I have seen Big Trouble in Little China many times. I grew up with this flick. It was my jam. But Bryar has not seen it, and neither of us have seen Escape from New York. So this is totally fresh for him and some familiar territory for me. Do we want to start with just Big Trouble? It's the first one we watched.
Well, let's talk about first watching them together. It is fun to compare the two because it's the same director and the same actor. It's fun just to see how different, Jack Burton is from Solid Snake.
Yeah, I will say. So first of all, Snake Plissken, Solid Snake. It's literally fucking Solid Snake. It's so crazy how you watch this and you're like, you would watch this movie and definitely be like, yeah, I'll make Metal Gear.
Yeah, his name is Snake.
Kojima should have made movies. Okay, if you've played any recent Kojima games, it's basically just giant cutscenes as video games. And you can tell because these are the kind of movies that he loves and they drip with that. Jack Burton, Snake Plissken, they're on the opposite ends of Kurt Russell's abilities. But something I found interesting, right, where it's like Snake Plissken is the traditional action hero. He is so much more jacked in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
If it was that physique switched, you would think they were, this was the
More
blockbuster
correct,
one for Kurt Russell.
More correct.
Which is kind of interesting, considering in this movie he's supposed to be a trucker. Big Trouble in Little China. He's just a trucker on the Pork Chop Express.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking, at some point, he looks normal. He's wearing a drug rug and a hat, and eventually he ditches that all, and he's just suddenly a Mortal Kombat character.
At some point he just decides to take his coat off, because he's getting into the action, and then he just is huge.
Another interesting part is the fact that both movies inspired video games, right? So Big Trouble in Little China inspired Mortal Kombat. I mean, fucking Raiden is in this movie.
Tell.
And Jack Burton is literally Johnny Cage, or not Johnny Cage, what's his name?
Luke.
No. The Hollywood guy.
That's Johnny Cage.
It is Johnny Cage?
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny Cage. And then, Escape from New York definitely inspired Metal Gear, but not to the same degree. This one's a kung fu action movie. This one is definitely a big action piece, but I mean, he looks exactly identical to Snake. So
yeah. So talking about Big Trouble, I knew less than I thought I did going into this movie. I did not think there was magic in this movie. I thought it was just
you see the poster and it looks maybe like a gang.
Well, I never really noticed even this guy here.
That's right.
That doesn't make sense. But I thought it was just gangs. Mafia, whenever at the very beginning, it's the first 5 minutes of the movie or the first 2 minutes of the movie.
The opening scene.
When Ed Sheeran is talking and he does the crazy lightning thing, my thought was, it's some kind of illusion, right? He's an illusionist, and the whole thing is this guy. I thought this guy is going to be trying to convince the FBI or whatever that all the stuff that happened was some kind of big crazy magic thing, but it was actually just a gang war. And then the scene in the alley happens, and Raiden shows up, and they start shooting lightning and spinning blades in their hands. And I was like, this is a completely different movie than I thought it was.
You and Jack Burton went down the same character arc, right?
We did.
That's what I kind of like about the movie. It's a movie that's not Chinese magic and mysticism so wild, bro. It's actually about like us as like normal people never having the ability to understand that and like still going out of the way. Like he's the best reluctant hero. In one of my favorite movies, he's one of my favorite reluctant hero archetypes because he starts out a truck driver who's, you know, he's gambling immediately. He's probably the type of guy who gets into fistfights. He's about to throw hands with gangsters, you know, in the very first couple act. But everything just keeps topping him. And there's so many scenes that are like, when he gets the Tech 9 for the first time, which is like a great gun for him, it's a great look, but the first time he picks it off of a dead guy and does not know how to use it.
Yeah, he tries to shoot and it click, 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 and he's got to like mess with it. That's one of the things I liked about this movie so much is how much of kind of, other than his physique, like how much of kind of a normal guy he is.
Yeah.
You know, where like,
he's willing to put it all on the line, but he doesn't have all the skills
he doesn't
that
know,
everybody else
you know,
around him does.
And I was telling, while we were watching it, I was telling Mike, I'm like, this movie made today, he's a truck driver, but it turns out he was actually a Navy SEAL and he worked as a mercenary for 20 years and has this whole past, and that's why he's shredded and how he knows how to do everything. But they decided to go with no, he's just a guy that got put in this situation and is courageous and like willing to do the things that he needs to do.
And everybody, what I love about it is everybody else is not only like, they can fight. Like everybody else is like like Goku level heroes. Like he's a guy, and then his buddy, who's the other guy in the movie. I cannot think of the actor's name right now. He's in some other John Carpenter movies. He's in Prince of Darkness, but he doesn't just know kung fu. He knows flying through the air, kills 7 dudes with his bare hands kung fu.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's kind of a running gag theme where every time a big fight breaks out, he tries to be in it, and then something happens, and then the other guys do everything.
Yes. He throws his knife out of his pocket on accident. Yeah. In the very end, Bilbo Baggins himself at the end of the fight when it's like the big, everybody shows up, he shoots the ceiling to hoorah, and then immediately knocks himself out.
Yeah,
it's
rocks
funny
fall
as
on his
fuck.
head. And then most of the fight just happens without him.
Yeah.
And so he's there, and he does progress the plot. He helps rescue the girls and everything, but
the movie is all neon. It's all neon laser beams and rotoscoped electricity. And then that final fight scene is literally just a video game cutscene. It's dudes flying around doing crazy wushu sword fights flying through midair. It's pretty lit. It's a movie that does not ask you to understand it. It just asks you to sit back and watch.
Yeah.
And you meet it there, it's pretty good.
Well, and it's weird because there is just odd things that happen, and the characters pretend like it's really not that big a deal.
One of them does. All the Chinese Americans are like, well, duh, man, this is all about energy and forces. And Jack Burton the whole time is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
He's just what the fuck are you talking
I laughed
about?
watching it whenever that giant weird spider bug thing comes out and eats that guy down in the tunnels in the forest or whatever. And then, Egg Shin throws the magic marbles in it, and then he's like, it won't come around anymore.
Yeah.
We're good. And it's like, but what was it, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did that guy just get eaten?
There's a lot of that. Trolls.
Yeah, the troll.
The ending's a classic, cliffhanger. There's a troll monster. There's so much going on with zero explanation, but it's not needed.
Yeah.
It's not needed. A modern movie would spend the entire time explaining this in a way that the characters will understand. Mm-hmm. This movie, it's not important the characters understand what's going on. It's important that the action keeps going forward.
Yeah. Well,
and I like the time, the building of the ritual and then the snowballing of it going, well, I'm going to help this guy's, abducted lady. And then it goes, oh, there's a bunch of abducted chicks. Oh, a sorcerer's got magic. And oh, there's now a giant ninja war.
And it makes us feel more like the main character.
For sure.
It makes us feel like Jack Burton because he's just going along with it the way we are viewing it. Even though all these other guys, it's this is just how it is. And it's so funny towards the end before the fight, whenever Jack is talking to Egg Shin and he's like, is that a potion?
Oh my God,
and he goes, yes. And he goes, that's what I thought. Are we going to drink it? Yes, we are. Good. That's what I thought. Because then that's at the point of the movie where you're like, okay,
the dialogue
we get it too.
At that point is so, you know what it is? It's a big payoff to a type of joke that doesn't have a punchline that you can only laugh at once you've seen the movie. The potion thing. That's got to be one of my favorite funny lines is not a funny line, where they all get in the elevator after drinking this magic potion, and then they're sitting there and he goes, wow, I feel pretty good. And all the guys are looking around each other like high as fuck. And they're all just like, what do? They do this. They're all just looking around high as fuck. It's so funny to me.
Yeah, no, it's just, I like that part because not only is it funny, is that a potion? Yeah, I thought so. Like, because it's also showing us where we are as viewers.
Yeah.
Of like, we're trying to follow along in all of this. And then at the end, it's like, you don't have to follow along. You just have to make assumptions that there's crazy magic stuff going on.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. And that's what we're doing as well.
Great blockbuster.
Yeah.
I got it. It's all time for me. But one thing I think is funny, I was thinking about it. Do you think it's one of the early examples of ninjas with guns? Where you see a bunch of it's like Chinese Americans, right? They're doing that whole thing, and there's like this procession when they show up in the alleyway, and you're expecting in your head like, wow, they're about to have a big kung fu brawl, which they do, but it doesn't start with that. It starts with them showing up, and it's like, oh, we're about to see a gang war. And like one of the dudes is like got a full Fu Manchu, and he's got freaking bandoliers and pistols, and it starts with a gunfight. They're just shooting Uzis at each other. I had to, in my notes, I wrote ninjas with guns with like 7 exclamation points. It is funny
because it starts out as a gang war, and then once they're all out of bullets, then they're like, all right, let's get our bow staves and our swords
They're
and our
throwing people
ninja
through
stars.
windows.
You know?
That's such a great brawl. The brawls in this movie are awesome because everybody's being thrown through shit.
Yeah.
It's just windows being smashed, walls being smashed, fucking shelves being. It's just dudes getting thrown through shit.
All of the cuts to like close-ups of like arms and legs, like that guy getting slammed into the wall.
I swear to God, in that like 10 minutes, that's the most legs, arms, and skulls you've ever seen smashed in like 10 minutes.
It's just so funny because it'll be like somebody grabbing somebody and then a cut to their arm getting like, you know, folded.
We've done some of those.
Folded into, and then like a cut back to them being like, ah. And it's just so funny because the editing is great. It's
classic
so
80s
funny.
stuff.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Okay, now I'd like to talk about the other movie. It's a double feature, so I think it's only fair that we draw the line. And since there's the same director for this movie, it's kind of interesting how direct the line goes. It feels like in the explanation.
Before we move on, I have one more. I have one big question I got to ask you.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you were in Jack Burton's position or one similar to it.
Okay.
And I know you're not I wouldn't call you like a skeptic. You're not super skeptical. How long would it take for you to just be like, okay, yeah, magic?
Here's the thing. So like obviously in the last show, we had a bit about like Faye. I've gone through this whole thing. Like I definitely am a believer. But I had like a rational mind. I'll just think I will fully accept my situation, assuming I am fully schizophrenic. I don't think I'd ever,
see, that's not
it would take a long time for me to be like, no, I guess Chinese magic is what's real. Because first of all, that's a big leap, right? Like you're like, is God real? Are we alone? And it's like Chinese magic is what's real. Actually, it's like the fucking I didn't expect heaven to be Chinese. You ever seen that? Where he's like a guy in heaven and he's like, it's cool. I just didn't expect it to be Chinese.
That's funny. No, I hadn't heard that. No, because
I was down though. That'd be so much fun.
Because I was thinking like, you know, you're watching this fight happen. All of a sudden, some dude shows up and shoots lightning out of his hands. I'm like,
that changes the whole game.
My first thought is maybe it's either some kind of crazy illusion. Or it's like he's got some weird lightning machine thing.
Sure.
Like he can shoot, like he's got a lightning gun.
It wouldn't even start with the light. Well, I guess the dude fell in the sky lightning. It's the 3 dudes being shot with like 400 rounds and not doing. That's where I'm like, oh, it is magic. I don't need to see lightning. Just show 3 dudes getting shot with hundreds of rounds of fucking.
And then just.
Yeah. And they go. What do? They do the synchronized front flip toss of the.
Oh yeah, they all do like a somersault.
I do know, like, how do you throw it even harder? Do a front flip while you throw it? It's like so fucking funny. It's cheesy but awesome.
It's very silly, but it's like I don't know. I don't think it would take me a super long time.
No.
But it wouldn't be my first thought. Obviously.
When a giant ball of green fire rips the roof off of a prostitution, like a brothel.
Yeah. Yeah, I
pretty much then, right?
I'd be like, there's definitely some kind of magic stuff, and that's kind of where he is like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's weird stuff. I don't.
Also
understand.
dripped out. I will say, absolutely, that movie's dripped. Like both of these movies, very just like,
Yeah.
damn. So let's talk about Escape from New York. We were fresh on this one. This was 1981. So this is a couple years after Halloween. I think this is his first movie with Kurt Russell, and many years before Big Trouble would come out. I really, really adore the pitch. Just pitch the movie out like Manhattan's a maximum security prison with a fucking giant wall, and there's no rules inside. Once you're in, you never come out. It's very sick. And the entire buildup is very like, hell yes. Like they get to a point where, what do they say? You're now entering Manhattan Island. If you'd like, you can kill yourself and we'll cremate your body on the premises.
You can choose termination and immediate cremation there in the facility, like instantly, or you can go to Manhattan.
Which is wild. Look, and it's so intimidating. And then before he ever gets there, he gets in this like jet flyer, and you're seeing all this like 3D, like old 80s like tech, like scanning the city.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's the past idea of the future.
Yeah. Oh, because it's 81 and it takes place in 1997.
It's 97, yeah. And there's been a war going on.
Yeah.
So, there's been weird military.
Yeah, it seems like the
technology.
implications, there's some kind of nuclear armament policy like on the verge of happening. And yeah, I thought it was a good movie, and I thought Kurt Russell was great in it, but that pitch halts to a stop once he gets in the city and there's just people running around and nothing happens.
Yeah.
He gets there on the ground and you see people running in the background and you're like, oh shit, something's about to happen. Nothing is about to happen. Nothing happens.
The idea, so the premise and the setting of it is so cool. You could have taken it so many different ways, right?
Yeah.
Like if this was a video game instead, that was like multiple levels that you had to beat.
Yeah.
And like you had to travel through, like there'd be a part where you're in a building.
Yeah.
And there's a part where you're in Central Park.
Yeah.
And there's a part where you're in Times Square, and like all of these settings are different. Or like, you have to go underground for a while, be in the subway system. But it's like, it's so much just him walking around through like post-apocalypse New York City.
Now they have some awesome wide shots that show you lots of the big monuments and stuff, and that's really cool. That just doesn't last. A lot of times there's just people running around and he just goes inside, right?
Yeah.
There's not, here's what I say. There doesn't seem like there's any real danger, but the saving the president element, right? He has 24 hours to save the president and he will be given, pardon.
Yeah.
Because Snake Plissken, our main character, is sent to the island as a prisoner first. And then the president crashes, and that's the mission. Snake, you'll be pardoned if you go save the president. That pressure is cool. He's got this little device, it's got a timer, and it's running through the movie, but I feel like there's a middle lull where they just don't hammer on that. Because by the end, he's counting the minutes, and it feels sick. That full last
when
part.
They're driving down the bridge.
Yeah, and the full beginning part, they feel great. Like, you meet all the characters in the first act and the second act to show up, but the middle act, the third act, the second act, it just feels pretty low,
so
nothing
like, to me,
going on.
There's a scene towards the beginning where he's walking through and some guy bangs on like a manhole cover. And then a bunch of people start coming from the manhole covers and running around. They call them like the crazies, right?
Yeah, the crazies.
And then he goes into this place and he meets this woman, and she's like, "Oh, you should get me out when you get the president out and everything." And then she gets like grabbed through the floor.
No, I do like that.
And drugged through. I'm saying that is cool.
Yeah, like that.
We needed more stuff like that. Crazy things.
When they meet the other characters who have lived in New York for whoever knows how long they've been sentenced here, they don't have problems getting around talking to people. There doesn't seem like a whole lot of agency.
Well, and I don't like
because there's not a lot of danger involved for a lot of these people.
Like when Cabby is bringing him to Brain for the first time, and he's like, "Let your guard down, Snake. This is a nice neighborhood." And it's like, there's a nice neighborhood.
There's a nice neighborhood in the apocalyptic Manhattan with thousands and thousands of prisoners.
Yeah. Like, there's just a nice neighborhood going on.
But I will say, what it doesn't lack is that the action is fun. Like, there's not a lot of kick-punch action, and it reminds me of Assault on Precinct 13, right? One of his earlier movies, which is about some cops in a police station that's defunct. So it's only like 2 cops in the building while they're moving, and then they get swarmed by mobs of gang members, and they have to survive. But it's not a kick punch all the way balls to the wall action movie. It's more about the realism of you can't leave. They have the windows, so a lot of the movie the characters sit around, just trying to avoid the windows, and then there's a final brawl. And this kind of reminds me of that, and it's elevated because it's John Carpenter, Halloween John Carpenter. And when there's kills in this movie and they use the guns, it's not like they're blasting and dudes fall over. There's like moments where there's dudes hanging on a car, they're shooting dudes' hands off.
Yeah,
the final bad guy gets shot like 1,000 times by the president. It's not one shot. They keep on cutting back to the guy laying there, and hundreds of it's a squib movie. It's squibs galore.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where he has to like Thunderdome fight a guy who honestly has like some fucking insane looking muscle. I think he looked like a WWF guy.
He was just a big guy.
And then he wins it because they just keep on giving him weapons, right? We were like, oh, they're about to fist fight. And then they hand him both bats, and I was like, okay. Now, again, the movie does that middle lull thing where they keep on cutting away from that fight. But finally they come back to spiked baseball bats versus spiked baseball bats, right?
Yeah.
And that final kill where he just hits him in the back of the head with the fucking thing and it just sticks. Like, that's horror movie director
He's just dead.
knowing how to add those fun kills in. It just needs more of it because Snake is a really fun protagonist. You want him to succeed. You want to see what he's going to do. He just doesn't do a lot for the movie.
Well, and
he's eye candy, if anything.
And my thing about it is, and it's one of the first ones, so I know it feels backwards to say this, but like, Kurt Russell pretty much always plays like a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a badass, but he's also just like a good person.
Most of the time.
Yeah, like Jack Burton's got his problems, but he's ultimately like he's a good guy, and his character in The Thing, he's like
McCready's one of the
he's a protagonist. Obviously he plays like Wyatt Earp. He's a good guy. In this, like Snake, he's just like an asshole.
Yeah, you know what? Evil. Okay, so like. They reveal that the president has a briefcase on him, and it's filled with tapes that are full of like armament codes or something that's needed to stop some kind of long-term devastation of mankind, right?
A big part of the movie, and the reason why he only has 24 hours to do it, is because the president has to be at a summit to meet with the leaders of Russia and China, because he has a tape that has like some sciencey things on it about nuclear fusion or whatever that they think will end the war.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, like, the president is only worth it because he has the capability to end the war right now.
Literally. Actually, I like the depiction of the government in the movie because it's like so alien to what we're imagining now. Like, the people who run the government don't even care if the president lives.
No, they
just need a president right now because somebody needs to get to that room.
Yeah.
And then finally, at the end, the president gets to get a kill and he gets over the wall and everything's successful. Some I'll say sad deaths. They weren't really sad, but they did get to be climactic and fun.
I didn't care about the characters at all.
No, not at all.
Cabby was like cool because he was nice and friendly, but like Brain and like Maggie or whatever her name was.
Their deaths were fun.
Their deaths were fun.
Maggie gets run over by a car and Brain gets blown up by a fucking mine, does like a front flip.
But it's like, I did not care about them at all.
But then when they finally get in the movie, honestly, it almost like, for every like little kind of thing I had about the movie that was kind of upsetting me, at the very end it turned it all around with all the stuff from the beginning I liked. He gets to the thing, he asks the president what he thinks about all the people who died trying to get him out of Manhattan.
That was cool.
He doesn't really care. He's sitting there going, well, I have a meeting in 2, so come back and we'll talk about it later. And he walks away, and the final reveal is that Snake Plissken, he went, he's victorious, he helps save the president, he's given his freedom.
Yeah, he gets to walk away.
He's offered a lot by the government, he denies it all, and then as he leaves, we find out he swapped the tapes with the president and destroyed the one he has. He had no intention of getting money from it.
Yeah.
He did it purely out of spite for the government, and that is so sick. It could cost the world, and he's like, who gives a fuck?
The last scene is they're recording the president because he wasn't able to make it to the summit. They're recording him, and he's like, I have a tape that has the secrets of the future, and he starts playing it, and it's jazz music, and he's like all weird, and then you see Snake walking away, take the tape out, and just rip it apart.
Yep.
And it's like, he's just a bad guy.
Yeah, which I like.
He doesn't care
I
about
like the
war
element that
ending
you
and
get
all
a
of that.
character who's more depth than just the circumstances that make him a
Yeah.
hero. And that's not even what happens with Jack, right? He's the opposite character. Jack is a traditional hero insofar as that he starts one way and then earns everything and becomes the new version of himself later with everything in mind that had happened. Snake goes in and leaves the same character. Nothing has changed about him.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. Speaking to the movies as a whole,
Nothing really changes about anybody because all the other characters die. It's the president and Snake, and then the guy who's like in charge, Hulk or whatever.
Hulk, yeah. Anyway, I will say the Escape from New York is straight action. It's not really that witty. It's not really that funny.
No.
But it follows a principle that John Carpenter has in a lot of these movies where he's pro Chekhov's gun. I mean, he is the guy who's, they have lots of lines where they come back, and if you hear the first line, and especially in Big Trouble in Little China, it's a quote, it's just a quote movie. Like there's so much, it's so quotable, and everything comes back around, right? Every catchphrase starts, and then later in the movie, it's used whenever it's like some epic moment. The same principle is for Escape from New York, just not as witty. It's not in a witty way, it's in a purely writing way, right? The briefcase comes back, the cabbie's tapes comes back, Brain's plans for the bridge comes back. The only thing that I don't like in that movie that has that principle would be the Duke. Like all of the gangs of New York thing falls completely flat on its ass, especially when you've seen something like The Warriors, when it makes things like gangs so interesting. This movie, it's just fodder. It's just a bunch of like grubby looking homeless dudes, and that's every other person in the movie except for Snake.
That's why I going back to what I was saying about like there just needed to be more in the movie. The movie could have I don't know, it could have used like warring factions or something.
Something like that.
Like there's the underground people and
the crazies versus the
the crazies, and then there's the Central Park people who do like farming and
They
stuff.
mentioned we saw Central Park and it looks like there was a farm.
Barely,
and then we hear that they survive by being underground. We never go underground, except for
they do to get the president the first time.
Oh, that's right.
But it's not the president. It's it's the guy that just took his thing.
Anyway, before we completely review the movies, to that point, I will say, unfortunately, there's a sequel to this movie called Escape from L.A., which is notoriously bad.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll watch it one day, and then we can talk about the two movies simultaneously. But look, I love John Carpenter. This is a double feature. Is amazing. I think it's a great. If you sat here and watched these, basically 3.5 hours, 4 hours of movie, you're gonna be in for a fucking blast. Honestly, we watched it, Big Trouble first, Escape from New York second. I think switching them, going chronologically through time is way better because this movie is fun nonstop, and this movie is great, and then you get a lot of hindsight kind of ideas because of just knowledge about John Carpenter's career, Kurt Russell as he develops in his life.
Yeah, kind of differently.
So I would say it's a great double feature. It's an action-packed thing. Pretty fun, pretty violent. Big Trouble's with.
Cool, mics are going.
Mic check, 1, 2.
3, 4.
Dinosaur. Whoa. Super mega technical fuck up. Where were we?
I have a question.
Okay.
So, in this world, it's 1997.
Yeah.
You're not Pliskin, but you're a prisoner.
I'm on Manhattan.
You get sent to Manhattan. Either A, what's your escape plan?
Okay.
Or what's your survival plan? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. They started the movie by blowing those people up. Like, it starts with like an escape plan, and they blow these two dudes who are like swimming on a mattress up with like a fucking missile. So they don't play. I'm not trying to escape.
You're not gonna
They
escape.
don't play, bro. There's women there. Why the fuck would you escape? There's ladies.
There are a few ladies.
I think I would just be a bad guy, man. I'm telling you. My survival plan is commoditize something really horrible that keeps me alive. It'd be a piece of shit. Or they had those dudes who were like doing they had that drag show. Remember they had a number singing about, and they were singing about like being sent to New York maximum security.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd do that.
They were way nicer than I thought they were gonna be to each other.
Yeah, lots of the people in that city were just chill.
Yeah.
Prison's kind of like that though. It's mostly
That's
chill.
fair.
You just gotta choose your gang.
But it's also like, I think in a place with no guards and no rules, you'd think it would maybe be worse. At least for the movie, you'd think it'd be worse than it is. Yeah. I think I would head towards Central Park.
Yeah, just hang out there.
See if I could set some traps for squirrels or birds or something.
I would check. I mean, escape route. Maybe check the subway. The subway leaves Manhattan. They probably shut it down though.
Oh, I'm sure it's gone. Yeah, they would have thought of that. But
all right. Well, so then, I think what we were talking about before the interruption was the double feature itself. So we'll end this by saying what we think about it as a double feature. I said a little bit what I said. I think it's a great double feature. I think if you like Kurt Russell, you would love these two movies back to back.
Yeah, I agree. And I think these two work better, obviously, as a double feature than like The Thing would.
Oh, with either of them? Agreed.
Because it's so different.
Agreed.
Like, these are both still action movies, even though one is more of like an action comedy.
Honestly, as a Carpenter thing, Carpenter has a trilogy called the Apocalypse Trilogy, but besides the trilogy, these two movies might be the best first, second watch that aren't sequel material, you know what I mean? They're similar.
Do it in the reverse order than we did.
Yeah,
start with Escape from New York, and then do Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep, and thank us later. So let's move on to our rankings. This is the double featured ranking board. We have devised a very interesting graph. I really don't believe in rating systems, but Bryar thought it'd be a great idea, so we came up with something interesting here. It's Bryar patented here. We have a grid. It's not a grid. What is it called? The freaking political compass, basically. We are going to rank all the movies on a scale of hating it and loving it, and then it being slop or being well done, right? It's pretty simple. We're going to put it anywhere on the board, and it'll kind of do that, you know. That's how it'll work. We also have our faces with the titles. That is how we're going to rank these movies, just like this. And then, you got it? Good. Bryar, what'd you think about, let's start with our first movie that we watched. We'll start with Big Trouble in Little China.
So, I think it's well made, right?
Okay.
Obviously, like the CGI, things like that, doesn't hold up.
Well, CGI, 86. It's all rotoscope, hand animated.
Rotoscope, whatever. But it's like
80s.
And obviously,
stuff.
it looks fake, but also.
Oh, but the sets are great. Come on.
No, I'm saying like specifically you dropped your thing.
Oh no!
Specifically for like the effects, like the lightning and everything. It doesn't look awesome, but it also, for the time,
I think they did everything in their power. So go ahead.
And I think it was well. So it's going to be up towards the well done side. I think they accomplished what they were trying to, which is kind of how I think of this. And I liked it quite a bit. So I'll probably put myself somewhere right in here.
Oh, I'm so happy to see that. I'm very happy to see that, ladies and gentlemen. Why wouldn't I want? This is like such a favorite movie for me. I'm going to try to be a little objective if I can, but this is not an objective board.
Well, this is not objective.
That's not how that works.
This is kind of the objective thing. This is the not objective thing.
Objectively, look, it's like all the way up here. Did everything it set out to do. It has some awesome stuff. It just, you know what? If I were to make it myself, I would have, done some other stuff. But that's it. That's all I can say. And you know what? I freaking adore this movie. That's a very... We'll measure it by where the title lands. That's how we'll measure it.
Oh, the title?
By where the title lands.
Cool,
so I'm going to go pretty high, man. I really love it, and I really think it's quite
I think that's about right.
Quite well done.
Maybe it's a little higher on the well done side.
Yeah, man. That's a must for me. This is a good movie for me, man.
Yeah.
We started strong. So let's move on to the next one. I mean, got Escape from New York. Let's you see, I don't think it's going to take me long to know here. I think it's well made, but also some of the stuff they really cheesed out on. But there's some really quality effects going on in filmmaking. I actually made a comment about how there's a lot of scenes where there's just like 40 dudes running around on these giant sets, and that's hard to beat for me. And I did like it, but I didn't love it. So I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go like that. I think that's about where I fit. I do like it, I really do, and I think it's not slop. I just don't think I adored it. What you got? I'm very interested to see where you're going to put this.
I agree with you a lot on like how well it was made. Whenever I think of well done and slop in that axis, though, I do think of like all of the classic like movie things.
Yeah.
So I also think about like characters and likability and all of that. And I think they struggled in that some. Like a lot of the characters are forgettable and not super likable. But like it's shot well, you know. It's like some of the story isn't there for me.
For sure.
You know, like some of the choices aren't there for me. So I think it'll be a little lower on the well done than yours. And a little more liked than yours, though.
Okay.
Because I still really enjoy schlocky action sequences and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I would probably put it right about there.
All right. You like it a little more, but you think it's a little less well done.
Yeah, because those two things aren't, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, it's a high concentration. We're going to have to get some smaller clips or a bigger board because we're already filling out this area. What happens when we just like every movie we pick? We got to choose some dog shit movies intentionally next time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Gotta fill up that, sorry.
we have done our rankings for these two movies. Now we're going to move on to pulling what our next prompt is. For each installment of this show, we're going to go ahead and go to the popcorn bucket of truth, the prototype popcorn bucket of truth. We're going to pull one prompt from this. It could be anything, but that'll be the theme of the next double feature. The next double feature is going to be Grindhouse movies. We'll see you then.